I heard there was this podcast, yo, about something funny like wrestling and so. And you really care about wrestling, don't you? There are drop kicks and leases all over the board, and then something called the Wrestling Hold. It's a super duper fun podcast about wrestling. That wrestling show. That wrestling show. That wrestling show. That wrestling show. Well, Fro and Bill and maybe a guest or two is here to hold your hand and guide you through a podcast about wrestling. We have a lot of extreme fun, and that's without the gun, because I needed something to rhyme fun with. That wrestling show, that wrestling show, that wrestling show, that wrestling show. Well, sit your behinds gently down and listen to our podcast sound and try to guess this week's pro question. You win a lot of cool things and also help Bill with his bills. That's a super duper fun competition. That wrestling show. 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 That wrestling show.
Hello everybody and welcome to That Wrestling Show. I know I sound tired. It's not because I'm fat. Well, okay, a little bit. But it's because I was doing a lot of moving before I got home, so... Oh boy.
Welcome to the most important wrestling show of the universe.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of That Wrestling Show, the only podcast that covers all pro wrestling, and this week is really going to be covering a lot of pro wrestling, because we're going to talk the Elimination Chamber, we're going to give our thoughts on that. Also, we'll have another fun discussion, because I think since we talked about last week, saying to our Facebook group, if you got any questions, put them up, we'll do a discussion. I think we've encouraged people to do that, Fro, so...
Yeah, and we will take a trip into the most important wrestling show of the universe, ImpactWrestling.com.
Oh, boy.
And I will ask Bill some important questions.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that, so... Mm-hmm. So, we're gonna do some quick news, not because there really weren't that. I mean, there weren't that many big headlines to discuss. Probably not till we get to Raw on Monday.
And we have some Hall of Fame stuff as well.
Yeah, we do. So we'll start with New Japan. And they released a few days ago their brackets for the annual New Japan Cup. For those who don't know what that is, it is a 16-man elimination tournament. And this goes on for a few weeks. And the winner of the tournament selects which championship they will challenge. And the match for whoever wins it is going to be on April the 1st for their next big event called Sakura Genesis.
Is that one of the most important pay-per-views?
I think it's...
Or is it not important at all?
I think it's starting to become important for New Japan.
Yeah.
Just, I think it depends on how the card is, but that's just me. Of course, whoever wins can challenge for either the IWGP Heavyweight title, Intercontinental title, or the Never Openweight title. So, I have in front of me the first round matches.
Nice.
And they begin next Friday. So here are the first round matches.
Can I guess on it?
You want to guess?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You tell me a wrestler, and I'll tell you the date and the opponent.
Okay. I will guess who wins.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, I'm telling you, carrying all those bags of potatoes at work, man.
You are tired today.
I am. That really warmed. I was sweating in my coat.
Wow.
That's how much harder.
Well, at least you're doing important work. That
yes, I am. For the homeless.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. March 9th, we have Michael Elgin against Tomohiro Ishii, and Juice Robinson will face Yujiro Takahashi.
Okay.
I
think... Yes?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I think Elgin will win.
Alright.
And Takahashi in the other one.
Okay. On the 10th, Hiroshi Tanahashi returns to action. He's going to face Taichi, and Bad Luck Fale will take on Lance Archer.
Lance Archer is a good name. I like that. What was the first match again?
Hiroshi Tanahashi against Taichi.
Taichi, I will go with.
Ooh, going for the upset. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On the 11th, Yoshihashi will face Kota Ibushi, and Tetsuya Naito will face Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, I love Zack Sabre Jr. I will go with him and Tanahashi in the first one.
You mean Ibushi?
Ibushi, man?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I'll tell you, I think Naito and Sabre is going to be the best match of the first round.
Ooh.
That's going to be...
and an important way to go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the 12th, Toru Yano will face Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Chuck Taylor will face Sanada.
Right. Sanada, I will go with Sanada.
Yeah. All right. Now, who do you think? Now, you're just doing this first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So probably. Well, not next week, but in 2 weeks we'll know the final four, and then you can guess who will win it all. Of the remaining four. So. Yeah, it's a good-looking tournament, I'll say that. It is a good-looking tournament. Speaking of good-looking, Fro, guess what's coming to my area this April?
I saw in your area there's a fake Weird Al Jankovic concert that you wanted to do.
Oh, come on, everybody! Jeez! Okay. So, for those who are wondering about this, last night I go on Facebook and I read this thing because the upcoming Vans Warped Tour is the last one. And there is like this Weird Al Yankovic's gonna headline the final Vans Warped Tour. And I'm like, holy shit, I gotta go see it. And then they're like, Motley Crue's banned from Merriweather because they had lesbians on stage. And then I was like, no. And then, like, all the other artists, it was like Katy Perry and Nine Inch Nails, and everyone's like, that's fake. And now I'm just like, shut up. Just shut up. So, yeah, my dreams of that.
It is important to keep your facts straight there, Bill. It's important.
But it's Weird Al!
It is Weird Al. And Weird Al is a good actor too, but come on.
He's actually, I read this on his Twitter last night. He's releasing a new single tomorrow.
Ooh.
I don't know the name of the song. You know what? I'm going to look it up real quick. Let's see. Maybe WeirdAl.com.
There were speculations about him giving up, not doing any more music. Because he did his last record for the company.
Right. So what's going to happen is, he's only going to release singles, I think, at this point, on iTunes. So, alright, so anyway, NXT's coming to the DC area, April the 19th. Cool. I'm going to try to go to that.
Would you say that NXT has been one of the most important shows for the WWE when it comes to developing?
Oh, God.
Is NXT now the most important place to develop?
If you're going to make it in WWE, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, being someone who's, I'm not a claimed historian, but I sort of consider myself a historian. I think until then, I would have said Ohio Valley Wrestling, but the way NXT's just been producing star after star after star these last 3-4 years, I gotta go with NXT. So, and speaking of NXT, I'm glad you brought that up, I'm glad we did talk about it, because I read that independent wrestler Keith Lee, it could be on his way to joining the developmental system. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Observer newsletter that he and a European wrestler, you might know him, Fro, Walter, are probably on their way to NXT. Although, Walter did release a statement on Twitter a little while ago saying that him going to NXT is not true.
Oh, okay.
But Keith Lee probably is on his way, and if he is, oh my God, what an acquisition WWE's gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Maybe one of the most important things they could maybe get in their company.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this in a way that doesn't come off racist, because I'm not. If they push Keith Lee the right way, I'm going to call it right now, in 5 years, he will be the first African-American WWE heavyweight champion. Mark my word. He will be the one.
Wait, wasn't Mark Henry at one point?
Well, he was the world heavyweight champion. He was never WWE champion.
I maybe I'm just remembering correctly then.
Alright, so other quick news. Ring of Honor announced today that they will be going to England in the month of May.
Oh, England. I want to go there. especially to Manchester?
Well, I have the dates and the locations in front of me if you want to go to any of these, Fro.
Okay.
May 24th, they will be in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
May 26th, they will be at the Crystal Palace Sports Centre in London.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 27th, they will be in the Doncaster Dome in Doncaster, England. And that
none of those places were Manchester.
And that will be happening during Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S. So,
hey WWE, don't forget about the most important place in England, Manchester. Go to England. That's the most important place, WWE. It is important to go there. Go there.
All right, I got one more story, and then I want to hear the TNA stuff because I haven't heard any TNA news in a while. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, we don't get to talk about them a lot. Probably because they don't do a lot of shows, but they're still very popular, very successful. They made an announcement last night that their next show, which is going to take place on March the 23rd, the show is called Time is a Flat Circle. I like that title. Has been moved. The location has been moved. Originally, it was going to be at the American Legion Hall in Reseda, California. It is now going to be at the Globe Theater in Los Angeles, not London.
Okay.
And PWG released a statement telling everyone why this move is happening. They said, and I quote, "Due to an error with PayPal, front row and general admission tickets oversold for Time is a Flat Circle. Rather than refund everyone, the show will be moving to a bigger venue to accommodate everyone. The Legion Hall holds approximately 400 people. The Globe Theater can hold up to almost 800. And the headlining match is Chuck Taylor defending the PWG title against Keith Lee, plus Matt Riddle against Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay against Adam Brooks, Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz against Flamita and Bandito, Jeff Cobb against Jonah Rock, Brody King, Jake Atlas, Eli Everfly, and Douglas James in a four-way match, and Ray Horace against Joey Janela. So, there, folks, if you want to go, go. All right, Fro, what news do you have up front today?
Well, I want us to discuss some important news. There is some important news out there talking about TNA, because Impact Wrestling will meet Lucha Underground at WrestleCon. Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground is set for WrestleCon weekend, Toronto, Los Angeles. Impact Wrestling announced today a historic co-promotion with Lucha Underground has been set for the weekend, scheduled for the 5th of April to 8th of April in New Orleans. The stars of Impact Wrestling will face off against stars of Lucha Underground. Is this good news?
Well, I would say yes, for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
The first one is for Lucha Underground, because they haven't filmed anything in a long time. And they did get renewed for a 4th season, but we just don't know when they're going to film it, and we also don't know when they're going to pop back up. So, there's that. Also, at the same time, it's good for Impact Wrestling because they're going to be able to... if I remember hearing this right, that event's going to be on Twitch. which is from what I've understood is like YouTube but for video games.
Right. Yeah, Twitch is one of the industry's leading and most important brands when it comes to streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch is really important for streamers. I would say it's maybe the most important for the streamers out there, but I don't know. Maybe.
It just really, for me, it depends on, for each group, who are they going to have for that show? Who are they going to have to represent Impact? Who are they going to have to represent Lucha Underground? So,
I'm going to play the devil's
advocate
lawyer.
Okay.
Yes, advocate. Because I'm not sure this is good for. Whoa! What was that noise? Oh, I was opening a page on my website and it suddenly started playing a video. Sorry. Oh, that scared the fuck out of me. Okay, sorry. Anyways, no, I don't think this is good for Lucha Underground. I'm not sure getting their brand intertwined with Impact is a good idea, to be honest.
Okay.
But mostly because Impact has so fucking bad reputation.
You're right to a degree, but this would be such a perfect opportunity to say, that was the old Impact. This is the new Impact. We're going to make things right.
Mm.
But I see where you're coming from.
Because, I was also reading, because in 2 weeks, Impact will have their wrestling main event called Crossroads.
Okay.
Where it will be Austin Aries defeating his World Championship against Johnny Impact after defeating EC3 in a number 1 contenders match. And we see how all this is, because where is EC3 right now?
He's in WWE. He's at NXT.
Yeah, he's in NXT.
Actually, I did find out, while you were talking, that event, Impact versus Lucha Underground, will be on Twitch.
Yeah.
During WrestleMania weekend. A 9 p.m. start time Central, so that'll be 10 p.m. Eastern during the Hall of Fame. So
Ooh.
You guys.
But that's in a way. In a way, I salute them for having balls enough to go against the WWE. I mean, it's important. It is really, really, really important to have a contender out there for the WWE, and they are trying to do this with this move. I like that. That takes some cojones, some balls.
Now, I will say this before we move on, because I think this happening on the Friday before WrestleMania is a lot better than being on a Saturday night, because if it's Saturday night, you're competing against NXT, and a whole lot of people are going to go see TakeOver. So it's like, you better take advantage of this.
Yeah. If they were going to do a move like this, they needed to do it during the fucking Hall of Fame, because I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to say it during WrestleMania weekend. I'm not staying up to see that, because I'm going to be tired enough from 2 days off with NXT and WrestleMania and what looks to be a 6-hour pre-show
Right.
with an 8-hour WrestleMania. And I know I'm going to be knackered after that weekend. I already know that the Monday after I'm going to sleep all day after 2 days of long wrestling shows.
Well,
I'm not going to stay awake for it. And to be honest, if I was awake, I would rather be on Twitch and watch this.
well, Fro, you being in a completely other continent, you actually have a bit of an advantage because you can pick between Friday and Saturday which night you can go to bed early, because I know for me, I'm gonna watch the Hall of Fame because it's the Hall of Fame. Those speeches can be good.
I'm going to watch the Hall of Fame, but I'm going to watch it the day after.
Right. I understand. Yeah. And then Saturday is TakeOver. Everyone's gonna watch TakeOver, and then Sunday's freaking WrestleMania. So, no, it's gonna be interesting. This is why this is our favorite time of the year, folks. We just get so pumped up.
But is it important? And I'm asking this question really, really clear. Is it important to have a contender for the WWE out there at WrestleMania weekend? And my answer is definitely a clear yes. I like that they are doing this WrestleCon, that they are doing things because of WrestleMania. Of course.
You got to take advantage.
You have to take advantage. And there will be millions and millions of fans in New Orleans that I'm going to guess that it's going to be thousands and thousands of fans that WrestleMania weekend. And collaborating between Lucha Underground and Impact is smart in the short term, but I'm not so sure it's good for the Lucha Underground brand. It depends. It depends on two factors: who goes over,
right?
Who has deciding power, and I'm a little afraid that Lucha Underground says, "Oh yeah, take our wrestlers. We're not filming right now. We can let everybody lose over Lucha and over Impact." That would be the wrong message to send out if they are actually going to come back.
Well, you were saying about competition.
Yeah.
There is competition there, WrestleMania weekend, and its name is Ring of Honor, and they have on paper the most interesting match of the entire WrestleMania weekend, Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega. So, with that...
And I'm going to watch that. I know I'm going to watch that.
I might do something I've never done before, Fro, that night. I might be going back and forth between my TV and the computer. Because I might have Ring of Honor on my computer, and I might have NXT on the TV.
NXT and the other one, yeah.
Yeah, I might be going back and forth that night. Actually, we got late breaking news. Is that the one I want? Let's try this one. Alright, we'll go with that sound for late breaking news. This just came through from ringsidenews.com, and Tammy Sitch, aka Sunny, was taken into custody by the New Jersey correctional officers this past Tuesday.
No. Not again.
The former WWE diva was arrested and charged with contempt, disobedience, resistance.
Oh, why are you doing this?
According to Bill Pritchard of WrestleZone, an employee of the Monmouth County Correctional Facility claims Sitch was being held due to being a fugitive in Pennsylvania for an undisclosed incident. Sitch is still being held in custody at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office on a $6,000 bond.
Ooh.
$5,000 of the $6,000 is from Aberdeen Township, the failure to appear in court, and the other $1,000 is in Knowlton Township of New Jersey with the failure to appear in court. So it looks like we're not going to see Sunny for a while. Okay.
When was she in the Hall of Fame? Oh, wait.
Yeah, she was in the Hall of Fame.
Yes. They're going to remove her.
Yeah, unless she kills a bird. I don't know.
Hey, are you ready to have a completely new question?
Yeah! Last week, we did get our answer correct, and the answer was Jeff Hardy, who was on the poster for the for Turning Point, and it was Jason Richardson again with the victory. So he has a total of 5 entries going into the big WrestleMania draw in 5 weeks.
Bill.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you now, live, where you can either say no or yes.
Okay.
I want you to have a promotion from now on to WrestleMania. Everyone that goes to your Patreon and at least give you $5 for a patron also gets a ticket into their drawing at WrestleMania.
Ooh, I'd like that.
Yeah?
So, alright, that's a good offer. If you, because right now, unfortunately, I don't have any people that donate. If you sign up, I like that idea. That's why you're the one of the marketing people. If you sign up for the $5 or more, you know what? I'll make it bigger. If you do $5, you get 1 entry. The bigger the donation amount, the more tickets you get, the more entries you get.
Yep.
So, we'll go for that.
Okay, let's do that.
All right.
And we are going to have our first and important, really important, it's super important, it's so important, Bill. It's important.
My heart is beating.
And it's the NWA pay-per-view.
Yes.
We never have had that.
All right, which one is it?
The first one ever.
The first?
Starcade.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yep. From November 24, 1983.
Okay. I've actually, yeah.
I can tell you that this is going to be interesting. And here's the question for the audience.
Okay.
Give me 1 referee.
Oh.
Yes.
Now, does it include the guest referee for the main event?
Yes.
Okay. I know who the guest referee was. I'm not going to say it, but...
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We begin with the Assassins. Assassin 1 and Assassin 2. That is the most generic names I could think of in the world. Against Rufus R. Johns and Bugsy McGraw.
Oh, man.
Never heard of these people.
If I remember... Oh, I better not cheat. If I remember correctly, because I have seen this show.
Okay.
The Assassins win that match.
That is correct. So this is Starcade from 1983, everybody.
Right. The first one.
Yes. Then we have Kevin Sullivan and Mark Levin against Scott McGee and Johnny Beaver.
Okay. If I remember correctly, I want to say Sullivan and Lewin won that match.
That is correct.
Yes.
And we have a singles match, and it's Carlos Colon against Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh, God, this was a craptacular match.
I can guess so, but I recognize two names. I'm so impressed. I know who Carlos Colon is, and I know who Abdullah the Butcher is.
It's like, my thing is, I sort of understand why it's on this show, but why do we need this on the show? That's where I'm coming from.
Right.
Abdullah won the match.
He did. Then we have Mark Youngblood. That's such a cool name. And Wahoo McDaniel against Bob Orton Jr. and Dick Slater. Bob Orton, the father of radio.
Yes. Okay. That was Orton and Slater.
Yes.
All right.
That is correct. Next match is the Great Kabuki.
All right, you got it.
Yes, against Charlie Brown. Then this was title versus mask match for the NWA Television Championship.
Charlie Brown from out of town. This is where, to me, the first Starrcade gets good.
Okay.
Because the first four matches is like, ugh. But once you get to the second half, it's actually a pretty good show. Charlie Brown won the match.
Oh. And if you want to guess out there if I ever will watch this pay-per-view, the answer is no.
All right.
Well, maybe for the next one, because I can't believe this is the stipulation, because it's a dog collar match.
Oh,
what was a dog collar match?
Okay. So a dog collar match, is when you have two wrestlers who really hate each other, and it's to the point where they want to kill each other.
Okay.
So each man is wrapped. They have a dog collar on them, and the only thing that can keep them is this long chain. Feet and feet of chain. So it's sort of like a strap match, but instead of being tied together to the wrist, they're together to the
tied together
to the neck.
Their neck.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. A long match as well, and it was Greg Valentine against Rowdy Piper. I never heard of him.
This is a famous match. I think this is the match, if I remember right, where Piper loses part of his hearing in his left ear.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was Piper who won that match.
It was.
Violent match.
Then we have the Briscoe brothers, Jack Briscoe and Jerry Briscoe, against Ricky Steamboat and Jade Youngblood. People I have heard about again. I'm so happy.
This was another good match.
Okay.
And Steamboat and Youngblood won the titles.
Yes. And then the only match I have actually seen clips from. Harley Race against Ric Flair.
Harley Race.
Please say it. Come on. Sing some of it.
Grumpy Cat is on the air. Grumpy Cat don't care. If you take a look in her face, she may think you're Harley Race. Grumpy, 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 grumpy cat.
The most important song in the world.
Oh my god. You know, when Grumpy Cat dies, real quick, before I answer, I'm going to. I hope there's like a slower version of the Thundercats theme song, so I can sing that version like that. But to answer the question, the main event, Ric Flair won the match.
It did. And this is the longest match by quite far. 23 minutes and 49 seconds.
Yeah, they really do milk that one.
Yeah.
All right, so your assignment this week is to name the referees from this first Starrcade.
Yeah, one referee is enough.
And you know what? I'll do this. You get one referee per entry. And once you get one referee, that's it. So you win one entry for this week. Mm-hmm. I want to see if everyone can get all 5. But when you answer, just put in one referee. So we make it fair and even.
Yeah, because there's 5 referees to get all together.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. First ever Starrcade from 1983.
Thanksgiving
night.
I'm
looking at the official poster, and it looks so good.
A flair for the gold.
Flair for the gold.
Yeah, that's a good subplot title name.
But I have a question because I don't know. Is this the first pay-per-view in the world?
No.
This the first?
No. This was on closed circuit television.
Okay.
Basically what it was if you weren't at the venue to see it in person, you would go to another venue, either a movie theater or an arena or wherever. You would pay entry fee to get in to go see the showing of the live event.
Right.
So...
But, I mean, there has to be some recordings of this, right?
Oh, you mean of Starrcade?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the network.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. Is it... is this the first? Is this... because I see here, for example, in the main event, Charlie Race was the champion.
Yeah.
When did the NWA start then? If it wasn't in '83.
You mean like the very beginning?
Yeah.
I think it was 1948.
Oh, that far behind?
That far back.
Okay. But this was the first pay-per-view, like, in the world, or what?
It was the first. It was like one of the first closed circuit events. Like the real first pay-per-view was the Wrestling Classic.
Wrestling what?
Classic.
Okay.
The WWF did in '85.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
History.
Mm-hmm. History.
I know nothing about it, so.
But this was
you're
learning.
Was this important?
It was at the time. You mean the first Starrcade?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was important. It was important.
Yes.
And this was 2 months before, Hogan famously won the title.
Oh, okay. So this is pretty mid in the middle then.
Mm-hmm. No.
But because there had to be, for example, could you go? For example, I know that there were wrestling before this. Was this the first one you could see in the cinema?
That's a good question. I don't know actually.
Okay.
Maybe not. Depends on, other events. You know what? I'm gonna say no, only because, and it just popped in my head, Fro. Like 7 years before that was the famous Antonio Inoki Muhammad Ali fight in Japan, and that was closed circuit all over the U.S. So maybe that was the first one, like in a movie theater. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay. We had an interesting topic put up on our Facebook group, that Wrestling Show fan group, which you guys can join. Because last week we had a good discussion on Kerry Von Erich. This week is a very good question that was brought up to the Facebook group. Not a lot of people answered, but we'll talk on it here. Name a wrestler that would have been a great world champion but never held that title. This was from Anthony Jerome Russell. He asked that question. That's a great question that gets asked. Because there are so many good wrestlers that could have been world champion.
In your history, I can think of pretty many. I remember I was a big fan of Adam Rose. Remember Adam Rose?
The Rosebuds.
And the Rosebuds.
Mm-hmm.
The gimmick he had before he was Adam Rose. Do you remember?
Oh, Leo Kruger.
Leo Kruger.
Oh, yes.
So amazingly good.
That's what he should have gone to WWE in.
And I was just thinking that was the first name that popped into my head. That's one that never really got a fair chance. I really liked him, and he was underrated, if you ask me.
All right.
I don't think there's a lot of people that will even remember who this guy is, but I always remember I had high hopes for him.
The first name for me that pops into my head is Arn Anderson.
Arn Anderson, oh yeah.
Because
such a good wrestler.
He's a guy, and there are certain people who not only in the time that Anderson was wrestling, but in other times where he was so good that he could have been the world champion, but there was so many other good wrestlers in that time period. You know, you had Flair, you had Rhodes, you had Tully Blanchard. That's another one that could go on that list. Tully Blanchard, Magnum TA. You know, if he'd never gotten in that car accident, he would have been a world champion. But to me, Anderson, for me, is at the top of the list.
Can you think of someone in your history?
Wow. In my lifetime of watching wrestling, I'd have to...
I'm going to be stupid and say Braun Strowman.
Well, he's not there yet. But we do have Braun Strowman news to discuss a little later, so...
It was kind of a joke.
Okay. I thought of another one. Someone that I've seen in my lifetime.
Okay.
Davey Boy Smith.
Oh, David.
How he never got to be world champion amazes me. Because in 92, like I didn't, you know, at the time when you're 7 and 8, you don't really realize, you know, oh, this guy could be, you know. He won the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam in his home country. It's like the next logical step for him once he loses that title is to become the world champion. But, you know, he ends up leaving by the end of the year because I think he was one of the people that was found getting steroids and stuff. So he ends up going to WCW in 93. And in 93... for almost 6 months, he's Big Van Vader's top rival in 93. And, I mean, like, Vader's 93 is really good because they evened out, like, his main rivals. Because, like, at the beginning of the year, it was, like, Vader and Sting. And those two together could put on a great match. So you have Sting for a little bit. Then you have Cactus Jack McFoley. And this is the infamous storyline where Cactus Jack ends up getting amnesia. Bro, don't even ask. It was a terrible storyline.
Oh,
it was bad. But
is it as bad as when Undertaker got electricity in his body and suddenly became a robot?
It was worse.
I've seen that Undertaker match.
Like, no, because, like, Cactus Jack ends up living in the streets, and his wife is wondering where he is, and, like, there are these vignettes, like, Dustin Rhodes tries to go and get him to come back in the ghetto, and it's so bad. But
if people say that the 80s were the highlight for wrestling, I dare you to go back there and look at some of the stupid gimmicks.
Well, this was 1993, you know, so... But Davey Boy was, like, he was the
Early
one...
90s.
Yeah, the 90s. There were some good years for the 90s. 93 wasn't that good of a year. But Davey Boy, he had a championship main event match at a pay-per-view with Vader. Then he beats him in a tag team main event on a pay-per-view, which gets him another shot at a Clash of Champions before he, spoiler alert, ultimately loses. And then, like, he finishes 93, and then he goes back to WWF in 94, and I always thought he should have been a world champion. How he didn't amazes me. But let me read a couple of responses. Anthony, who was the one that brought this up, he had two good picks. Nikita Koloff, which I could honestly see because of his strength. The other one is Eddie Gilbert, which is very interesting because he was a shorter wrestler, but man, could he talk on the mic. Oh, my goodness, he had a way with words. He had a way with words. Leslie Grand said Roddy Piper. That's another great choice there.
Yeah, why was he never a world champion?
And Brian Rochester also agreed with me with Arn Anderson. There's so many good wrestlers.
How was Ron there?
How did Piper never get it?
Amazing. One of the most important names in wrestling, and he couldn't get the fucking title.
I think, again, like Arn Anderson...
One of the definitely most important names.
But, bro, it's like I said with Arn Anderson. Piper was so good, but he was in a promotion where there were other top guys that could have, like Hogan, Andre, Savage, Ted DiBiase, that's another name. The $1 Million Man. He was never world champion. Officially, was never world champion. There were just so many good wrestlers that never got to be world champion. Actually, real quick, and then we're going to get to the Elimination Chamber. I posted this video on another Facebook group, Our Vantage Point, and you know how you said the 90s were bad? There were some times where the 80s could be real cheesy. Because I recorded, and I might put this in our Facebook group for everyone to watch, Fro. They used to do video packages using current hit songs. So the St. Louis territory did one for Ted DiBiase. Do you want to know what song they used?
Okay.
Olivia Newton-John's Physical. love the song.
Let's get physical, physical. Let's get physical, physical.
Like, I love the song. It's on my iPod. I admit it to everyone.
I love that
I am
song
I am as straight as a straight can be, but I love that damn song. But that song,
I love that song.
I think the problem with that song is there are people who don't know what the real meaning of that song's about. They're just like, oh, it's a song called Physical. He's in wrestling. Let's use it.
By the way, just some Adam Rose facts. I looked him up on Wikipedia. He's now under his new ring name as Aldo Rose. And on March 11, Rose announced on Twitter that 2017 would be officially his last year in wrestling.
I thought I just saw him being advertised recently for a show. So maybe he didn't retire. I don't know.
Maybe.
So yeah, I'll post that music video up this weekend for everyone to watch. Alright, let's get to the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, big shit match.
This was a show.
It was a show.
It happened.
I will give it that it had one of the best women matches I've seen inside Elimination Chamber. I will give it that. It's the best women's Elimination Chamber match I have ever seen.
Oh, I noticed the joke there. Ha ha ha. Alright, so...
But it was such an important night.
It was.
Come on!
It was. So for those of you who are new listening to the show for the first time, what we do when we review a WWE pay-per-view is not only do we give our grades for the matches, but we also give grades from Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and also from CBS Sports and ESPN, because, for some reason, ESPN and CBS Sports have become professional wrestling experts.
And for some reason, they are treating it like it's real sport.
Actually, you know what, Fro? I'll be honest, I actually enjoy that. It's like, it's about time, But anyway, let's get started with the kickoff show match, the Miz Taraj against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
This was not a good match.
No, it wasn't.
This was a terrible beginning of what was going to be quite uninteresting pay-per-view.
Yeah. Of course, Gallows and Anderson won the match. I originally had it as a C. I bumped it down to a C-.
I definitely have this as a C-.
Alright. Meltzer rated this match 1 3/4 stars, which is about the right rating. CBS Sports gave this a C-, and ESPN did not rate this match at all.
Yeah, they never do it for the pre-show.
No, they never. I don't get that.
Me neither. It's the pre-show. They should do it.
I know, but
it's not the most important match in the pay-per-view.
No, it's not.
Have some respect for it, even though it's not important. There's wrestlers out there trying to do their job, and even though it's not important in any way, shape, or form to what will come to WrestleMania,
right?
Just grade it. It's not like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Grading a non-important match.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. For the next 3 weeks, we are under Review Mania. So, this is week number 1 of Review Mania. Because we're reviewing 4 shows the next 3 weeks, bro. Oh, boy. Okay, so let's get to the main show. Okay, so they start off with the Women's Elimination Chamber match for the Raw Women's title. Alexa Bliss defending against Mickie James, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville.
I'm going to be really nice to this match. I actually think this is the best Hell in the Cell. Why do I want to call it Hell in the Cell all the time? It's not the Hell in the Cell. It is the best elimination match of the night.
All right.
I think so. I think so. I think this is better than the men's.
I have it at number. I have this as my second favorite match.
Yeah, but I think this is better than the men's.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're.
I think the pacing of this match is kind of weird. I agree with the winner.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved her promo on Monday Night Raw.
All right, we're gonna get to that.
Such a perfect promo.
All right, we're gonna get to that in a minute.
It's such an important,
because there were some good spots in this match. Mickie James does a jump from the top of one of the pods onto Sasha and Bayley, and then Alexa gets chased by Sasha and Bayley, and she's climbing around like the wall on American Gladiators. Mm-hmm. And then it comes down to Sasha and Alexa. And Alexa, I couldn't believe she did this, did the Twisted Bliss from the top of the pod onto Banks, but Banks reverses it into the Banks statement, which was really good. And it was just a really good ending. Alexa Bliss gave the DDT from the second rope, which wins her the match, keeps the women's title. I liked the ending.
The ending was good. I think they had some problems with the pacing, and I felt the storyline that they are doing with Bayley versus the Boss. Came a little into the middle of it, and kind of destroyed the pacing of it. So it felt kind of tried, and it felt a little like long, and I just felt like there was a little too much or a little too less going on at times.
And then, after the match, Alexa Bliss cuts this promo that is so good. Because, now Fro and I, we're on Skype with Luke from Another Digital Citizen and your friend Ian. Did Ian stay for that first match?
I think so.
Okay, I think so, yeah. So Alexa cuts this promo. It's so good. And she's crying. And then at the end, she's like, this, thank you. This is for all the little girls. This is for those who dream. And then she's like, your dreams will never come true.
And I felt like, oh, she's turning face.
And everybody was...
And everybody goes, yeah, she's turning face.
Yeah.
And then she's like, twisted around. She's such a good champion.
Oh.
Holy goalie, she's a good champion.
She is.
Oh, it's too bad she's going to lose that WrestleMania.
Against who? We don't know. I gave this a B-.
Oh, I gave this a B+.
All right. Meltzer gave this 3.25 stars. CBS Sports gave this an A-.
Ooh.
Are you kidding me?
No.
An
It was
A-?
No.
And ESPN rated this 3.75 out of 5. Next match was the Raw Tag Team titles. Apollo and Titus O'Neil against Cesaro and Sheamus. Because we can't call him Apollo Crews anymore. And I think we should tell everyone why, because I told you guys. Because, folks, and this was something we forgot to talk about last week, Apollo Crews is no longer Apollo Crews. He's Apollo now, as you could tell. Here's the reason. WWE thought, because of the Florida shooting, and the guy's last name was Cruz, C-R-U-Z, they think, well, we should probably drop the Crews from Apollo Crews, and that's C-R-E-W-S. I mean, I understand, they wanted...
Oh, what an important change of name.
I mean,
important.
I understand why they're doing this, but come on. Seriously? Anyway, the tag title match happened. That's all I got, really, from that. How did you feel?
No, it felt. I didn't like this match at all.
I gave this a C.
Yeah, C is definitely. Yeah.
Meltzer gave this 2.25 stars.
Mm-hmm.
CBS Sports gave it an A+. No, I'm just kidding. They gave it a C. And ESPN gave it 2 out of 5. Oh man. Next was Asuka and Nia Jax.
Oh, poor Nia.
This could have been better.
Poor Nia Jax. I feel sorry for her.
This match could have been better.
I knew the outcome before it started. It's not an important match. It was a really unimportant match.
Mm-hmm.
Where nothing really mattered.
Right.
Because it didn't really matter at all. It was so important that she won. Oh, will she win? Will she win this important match? Oh, it's so important for her. Oh, will she win? Important.
Now, I will say, though, I did like the ending.
The ending was good.
Because that cradle came out of nowhere for Asuka to get that 3 count and the win. And then Nia Jax beat her up, and she went through the barricade with Asuka. That was a good spot. Other than that, it just wasn't their night that night. That's all. I mean, I'm not going to blame any one of them. It just wasn't their night. I'm going to give it a C.
Asuka. I'm going to blame Asuka.
All right, so what rating would you give this one?
A C-.
All right. Meltzer gave this 2.5 stars. CBS Sports gave it a C+. And ESPN gave this a 3 out of 5.
Ooh.
And then we have Matt Hardy against Bray Wyatt.
You know what? I'm the only one that liked this match.
Yeah, you are.
I like this match.
Oh.
I knew the outcome on this match as well.
The beginning had so much potential.
Yeah, the beginning was so good.
And then it just took a nosedive.
Yeah, it fucks it a little up.
Matt Hardy wins with the twist of fate. At least he wins. This was my
the most important rivalry of all time.
Exactly. I gave this a D+.
Oh. I really like this. I will give this a B+.
Oh, Fro. Oh, you killed me.
I like this.
No, I know. Meltzer gave this 2 stars. CBS Sports gave this a C-, and ESPN gave this 2.75 out of 5. And then real quick, we have to mention the contract signing. Because It was such a weird segment. Because...
Well, it was a big pile of crap. What was it?
Well, okay. They took the contract signing seriously. Which I liked. But then, Kurt Angle starts to become...
Turn heels?
Like, he starts to act like a stooge.
Yeah.
And Ronda's like, what's happening, Kurt? And Kurt's like, Hunter and Stephanie were saying how they've been waiting 3 years for this, and how they own you now, and that they own you, bitch. And it was so dumb. Like, Angle comes off so stupid that it's funny, and then he's like, oh, and by the way, Stephanie, didn't you say that you're going to keep Ronda down now that she's a part of WWE?
Yeah, no, I don't know what they're doing with him.
Kurt came off so bad. He came off so bad. But I did like, though, the Ronda giving that hip thrust to Triple H through the table. That was a real cool spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know what, though? I will say this. I like how they set up Rousey's character, because they're saying, okay, just want to go over the contract. You don't want a guaranteed title shot. You don't want a private jet. You don't want, special treatment. And she's like, no, I want to be like everybody else in the back. And I
want to be like you.
And you know what, though? I'm all for that. I am all for that. Unlike some other guy we're going to talk about real soon.
I know who.
Yes.
I know who.
Alright, and then the main event, the men's Elimination Chamber match. Winner goes to face the man that we will be talking about shortly at WrestleMania.
You mean the most predictable pay-per-view of all time ended with a predictable win?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this pay-per-view proved two things. How fucking unsecure they have been on Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
letting him win so easily over Braun Strowman. And second of all, how Braun Strowman is one of the best wrestlers out there this time. He sold that spear like a champion did. That spot inside the
chamber?
The chamber.
Oh, the pod.
In the pod.
Yeah.
One of the most amazing spots I've seen in a long, long time. And that was not Roman Reigns. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that was Braun Strowman. Selling it like a champion.
And here's the thing, folks. The whole story in this match was Braun Strowman eliminated every single person in that match except Roman Reigns.
And I have no clue what they're doing with him. I've heard some rumors, and I hope this is true.
I think I know the rumors you're talking about, and we will bring that up.
Okay.
In a moment. Not right away.
But this main event, this pay-per-view, felt so unimportant. I have never, ever been so sure before a pay-per-view started of the results. And if you listen back to the episode before this, you can hear me ding
everything.
All of the matches. And I was correct in everything.
Yeah.
Because it was so predictable. It was so unimportant. It was so straight line into WrestleMania that it hurts product. this pay-per-view hurt my feelings for WrestleMania.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it
That's
hurt.
how predictable it was.
But you know what, though? Yes, the ending was very predictable. But this was...
Every match.
But this was a good match. I thought this was a good match.
It was an okay match. I still think the women's match was better.
I'll tell you my one issue, and then we'll give our grades.
Okay.
When John Cena got eliminated, that should have been a bigger deal than it ended up being.
That should be so much more important than it was.
Exactly, because it's like he's like, well, if I don't win this, I don't have a road to WrestleMania. And then when he gets eliminated, Cole's like, oh, well, John Cena got eliminated. I guess he doesn't have a road to WrestleMania. That's got to be bigger. That's got to be bigger.
The promo he does
the next night
after
makes up for
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. The promo he does at Raw, challenging The Undertaker and saying, oh, that match will never happen.
Right.
Of course it will happen. We know it's going to happen. We know it's not going to happen.
It has to at this point.
It has to happen at this point.
Because
he said Undertaker's name and he challenged The Undertaker. That is what is important in this. It's so important.
Because, Fro, I don't want their backup match.
Oh.
Do you want to know what that is?
John Cena against
Rey Mysterio. I don't want it. It's nothing against Rey. That's not a WrestleMania match.
No.
Cena and Undertaker is a WrestleMania match.
But I know it's going to be career versus career because what is going to happen in 2 weeks? In Fastlane?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cena's now in the main event.
And he won the spot on SmackDown. Making AJ Styles looking like a weak champion, by the way. I didn't like that. But other than that, he will lose.
Yeah.
And he will go on saying, oh, what now? I've lost my chance in Raw. I lost my chance in SmackDown. There's nothing more to left. I can't go to NXT.
I can't go to 205 Live.
That would be funny if John Cena went into NXT and was like, I want to go to WrestleMania. But yes, sorry, that would be so funny.
Oh man!
The new NXT title champion John Cena.
Oh my god!
That would be destroying NXT.
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
No,
but we know Cena is going to lose, and he's going to say, "Oh no, I lost the most important match of my career.
Mm-hmm.
I lost everything. I lost the most important match of my career. I lost the most important match of my career. What can I do now? I can't do anything. I can't get to WrestleMania." And the Undertaker will come and say, I heard you say my name.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I would think. Unless Mysterio comes out and is like, hey, dog, WrestleMania Holmes? Anyway, the men's elimination chamber, I gave that match a B.
Yeah, I will give it a B-. All
right. Meltzer gave this 3 3/4 stars. CBS Sports gave this a C-. Ooh, that's a bit harsh. And ESPN gave it 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
All right. So, real quick, what did our Facebook community think of this event? Well, the majority of the people went with a C grade, and that would be the grade I would give it. I know that's what you gave it.
I went with C, so.
We had a couple people who gave it a D. We had a couple people who gave it an A. We're going to have a talk later. One person gave it a B, and one person gave it an F. As far as best match, the majority went with you, Fro, in the women's elimination chamber match.
Yeah, I think that was
the other portion of the votes went with the men. I'm voting for the men. Nothing against the women, but that's how I'm going. And least favorite, right now the leader is Mr. Raj versus Gallows and Anderson. Then Hardy and Wyatt, and then the men's elimination chamber got a vote. I have to give it to Hardy and Wyatt. Sorry, Fro, it just was not that good of a match. Okay, so let's talk about Monday night, and in particular, for me anyway, because I know you're going to talk about Ronda Rousey here. For me in particular, the Roman Reigns promo.
So good.
Because they advertised, he and Lesnar were going to go face to face. And then Roman comes out and he says that he left. He left the building. So he cut a worked shoot promo talking about how, everybody, in the locker room busts their ass and he just comes in whenever he wants to, and that he's tired of it, which is the right assumption of all the fans.
And if you look back at WrestleMania last year at the Undertaker versus Roman Reigns match, there's only two people that have beaten the Undertaker up to now. It is Roman Reigns, and it is
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
That's it.
And that's it. That's the two only persons that have beaten the Undertaker. That's why I feel like this match at WrestleMania, where I will bet my house, my animals, my TV, my computer, my fake car that I don't have, my microwave, my clothes. I will bet everything on that Roman Reigns will win. And it is so important that he does win.
Yeah. He has to win.
He has to win.
Because
it's so important for the WWE. And I will give you some fast reasons and we can continue.
Okay.
We need a champion that's there.
Mm-hmm.
We need a fighting champion that's there. We need to see the title more than we did. We need a feel of pride when it comes to the title. And I think that Roman Reigns will have it for a pretty short time. I think Roman Reigns' title reign will be pretty short. And I have an idea who will win over him and when.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And my prediction is that he will lose it at SummerSlam against Braun Strowman.
Oh, that's plausible.
That is my most plausible and unimagination prediction. But I think the only one that makes sense of taking it from Roman Reigns right now is Braun Strowman.
Right. Okay. So this is where things get tricky. Because it is right now Reigns and Lesnar. Vince wants that to be the main event. It probably will be, even though it really shouldn't. It should be like semi-main event.
I think the main event actually will be the Undertaker match. If he's going to match. If he's going to lose against John Cena, it's going to go last.
All right. Now, okay, like I said, this is where it gets interesting. Because Sunday night, during the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which was in Las Vegas, a picture came out of Brock Lesnar with UFC owner Dana White. Brock wearing a UFC shirt. Brock's contract is coming soon to an end. So he could either stay with WWE and make more money and have the same schedule, or he can take his punk ass back to UFC where he was a semi-success.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a semi-success. I will be so brutal and say he wasn't a successful.
And anyone who says, oh, he became world champion, that makes him successful, I'm sorry, it doesn't.
No.
You have to have multiple defenses. Now, I'll give him a pass because he did have diverticulitis. I'll give him that.
Oh yeah.
But his MMA record, I don't think was that good. Let me pull it up real quick.
But it is important for me to get through that, and this is important. It is important for me to get a champion that will be there. It's so darn important for me to see the title there. I need the title on Raw. I need to see the champion more than how many times have you seen him this year?
Okay, I have Brock's
in 1 year since he won it. Let's say he's been there. I will be really nice and say 50% of the time. That's not even close.
Yeah, that's being very nice.
25% of the time.
I'd say 30.
Yeah, 30%.
Yeah.
That doesn't give me a connection to the champion.
Right.
And that's so important. If you like wrestling like I do, that is so important.
Okay, so I have Brock's MMA record. He is, as of this moment, 5-3 with one no decision. The no decision was from his last fight because he had originally won, but then was found to have been tested positive for clomiphene. So now this is where it gets interesting, Fro. These are the rumors that I have read. Because not only do we have that situation with Brock, we also have the steroid situation with Roman Reigns. There have been reports that the guy who got arrested and said, Roman Reigns bought from me, according to some sources, I'm not going to say it's true and it's not true, but he is going to release a video telling us which people bought steroids from him, and it includes WWE people. So, this brings up Braun Strowman. Because originally he was booked to face The Miz for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Which, as much as I love Braun, and as much as I love Miz, I don't think that would have been that good of a match.
No.
We saw Monday night Seth Rollins and Finn Balor face Miz. Braun did not face him. WWE right now has two backup plans for Braun Strowman for WrestleMania. Backup plan number one is he has a match against Elias at WrestleMania. Okay, I can go for that. I think that would be a pretty entertaining match.
Mm.
And then there's backup plan number 2. And this may raise some eyebrows. If anything was to happen to either Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar between now and the 8th of April, the day of WrestleMania, Braun Strowman will be put in the Universal title match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So that means if Reigns ends up getting suspended a second time, which is a 60-day suspension, he's no longer in the main event of WrestleMania. Braun Strowman's going to end up being in that match at WrestleMania. Or if Brock Lesnar decides, you know what? Screw you, WWE. I don't need you anymore. Braun Strowman is going to go in to the main event of WrestleMania.
Mm.
So it really depends on what happens with Reigns and Lesnar. If it ends up being Lesnar that drops out, and it's Reigns and Strowman, Reigns is winning the title. Because Vince is booked for a year. Reigns is going to win the title. If Reigns drops, and it's Strowman and Brock at WrestleMania, Braun's going to win the title. That's the only way it could be.
Mm.
As far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
Now, how do you feel about that?
I hope it doesn't happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason is because I don't want I don't want Braun Strowman to win it that way.
All right, I can see your point.
I want him to win it more cleanly.
Yeah.
If you get my drift.
I do.
Yeah.
We had a good comment that pretty much sums up the Reigns-Lesnar match at WrestleMania. This is from Brian. He wrote, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. Well, this is going to be my bathroom break or staring at my phone moment.
Yeah, I'm not excited by it either, Brian. Just get over with it, and there's so much other things I'm going to be enjoying. I'm going to enjoy Ronda Rousey against Stephanie. I know everybody is saying that that is not the match they are looking forward to, but I am.
Right. All right. One more thing, and then we're going to start wrapping it up for this week and tell you guys what we got next.
Rapping.
Oh no! You know what we'll bring him up when we get to the Hall of Fame episode in a few weeks.
Oh yeah. Mention his name.
Oh yeah. Crap! I can't even think of his name. Anyway, they announced this past Monday night on Raw. Boy, am I bad.
The Warrior Award.
Yes, the Warrior Award, which I did not get again this year. I don't know why. No, I do know why. The recipient of the Warrior Award is Jarius J.J. Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know who he is a young boy, 15 years old, who survived a double liver transplant.
Ooh.
He was knocking on death's door.
Oh, yeah.
And he managed to come back, and he's quite a story, folks.
Yeah, and a good choice for the Warrior Award, to be honest.
He has received other awards. He's received honors from the New Orleans Saints, the NBA, and last year was the recipient of the from the ESPY Awards of the Jimmy V Perseverance Award, named after Jimmy Valvano, who passed away from cancer 25 years ago. And he also received the WWE Hero Award for his courage, perseverance, and dedication to helping others. When asked about him getting the award. He said, quote, "I can't believe I have been chosen to be the 2018 Warrior Award recipient. Being honored by WWE means the world to me. I feel very blessed."
Cool.
Yeah. I can't wait for his speech.
I think it's going to be powerful.
That's going to be... That one could shed some tears.
Yep.
That night. Okay, one more story, then we're going to get going. This is a big story, so... this past week, Tuesday in particular, there were executives from Fox Sports who attended SmackDown. One person in particular that catches my eye is Colin Cowherd, who for years has bashed the wrestling industry. Well, he was on his show, one of his two shows actually, called Speak for Yourself, and he talked about his experience, and I'll give you a couple of the things that he said. He compared the show's atmosphere favorably to a rock concert. He met Stephanie McMahon at the event and commented that WWE was a, quote, professionally run organization. It was fun. I had a blast. We laughed for 2 hours. Of course, for those who don't know, there's a big, sort of a bidding war to get WWE. USA, Fox is another one. Maybe Disney gets involved. So, if it does end up with Fox, it's going to go on Fox Sports 1, both Raw and SmackDown.
Okay.
If it is to happen. So, when we find out when it happens, I think it's going to happen later in the year, we will talk about it on this show.
Okay.
Alright, that's going to do it for us, so let's wrap it up. Follow the show on Twitter at WrestlingShow11. Fro, where can they follow you?
At Bananiscram on Twitter. And if you don't know how to say Bananiscram, just follow Bill and he will at me when we do the wrestling show.
Yeah. And you can follow me on Twitter at House of Bill. You can join our Facebook group. It is That Wrestling Show fan group. Just type that in the search bar and you're right there. And if you can't find us, it's okay. Just click on the link in the description box. You are right there. You can check out the website, thatwrestlingshow.com. Don't forget to visit the Patreon page, patreon.com/Bill's World of Podcasts, where your donations will help not only this show, but other podcasts that I do. And don't forget, if you select a donation of $5 or more, you will get at least one entry into our big WrestleMania drawing on April the 5th.
And I can promise you that will be worth more than that $5 that you put down.
It will.
Because we have some amazing prizes.
Ooh. Alright, so next week, we continue Review Mania. Because next week, Fro and I are going to review WCW Halloween Havoc 1998. Your choice. Fro's going to watch it, and I'm going to watch it too, so... Oh boy.
Yeah, I've seen one match, and it hasn't been that bad yet. It was Chris Jericho against Raven.
We'll see where it goes from there. Also,
I heard some rumors.
Also, next week, we are going to make our predictions for Ring of Honor's 16th anniversary pay-per-view and WWE Fastlane.
Yes.
So we got
all next week.
We got a jammed show next week.
Whew.
All right, everybody have a good rest of the week. Have a good, safe weekend. And when you're done doing whatever it is you do, you're probably going to watch the Academy Awards. I'm not. I don't want to hear.
I am.
I don't want to hear 3.5 hours of political bullcrap. Come back here next week for another episode of That Wrestling Show, the only podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And as always,
Wrestling! Wrestle on!
Wrestle on!